Great. So yeah, thank you again, Satya, Phil, and Christoph for joining us today. This is a really interesting workshop. We will probably need around 2 hours. Last time we actually finished in 2 hours, 10, 15 minutes. There were so many questions. We have a habit of not leaving the stage without any questions left behind. So we want to make sure that we will also do today. So our speakers are usually very patient. So feel free to ask questions. We will do our best to make sure that you get the best out of today. So your 2 hours will be worth it. Okay. So without further ado, we are XR Bootcamp, SensAI Hackademy. So as you may know us, our goal is to make top level high quality education of XR development to all. And when we say XR, we are also talking about CV AI as well. We call it SensAI, but the idea is to make sure that you learn XR in the best way possible. We have so many courses, boot camps. You can go to xrbootcamp.com and then check. But just to tell you that in our last cohort, we had over 61 countries joining these cohorts, and we try to reach as many even underrepresented regions, communities as well. So if you are looking for breaking into XR, this is the amazing opportunity. And there's another opportunity. We have released a game called Gorillazilla. Last year's, it is one of the most played games, I would call it. Over 500,000 people downloaded this game on Meta Quest, and over 6,000 professionals and students joined the course. It teaches you everything from beginning to till end about mixed reality. And then you can use the code SensAI Hack. Our team will share the link with you now, so you can actually use that to directly access this course for free. So you can also play the game and then also use the course. So this is an amazing opportunity for you to get into XR. Maybe in the meantime, we can also quickly ask the first question on poll, because this is something that we want to understand, like how many of you built something on MetaQuest or not. So I also start the poll. Let's continue. So what we are doing, right? Like why we are here, especially going beyond XR, right? What we believe is the world is preparing for a new era, which we call it Sense AI era. Uh, the idea is to mimic human senses and cognition as much as we can, of course, and bringing a completely new type of context-aware apps and intelligence. So you can actually utilize the digital sensing capabilities of platforms like OpenCV and wearables, MetaQuest, headsets, and making sure that you are actually utilizing these senses for the sake of humanity, for the sake of your bringing convenience to your daily life, for your industry settings, so whatever you will need, right? So we believe we will live in a sense AI era, and computer vision was there for a long time. As far as I know, OpenCV was out there for like more than 25 years. This means that vision part was quite good, but the hearing part, the smell, taste, and other senses will also, we believe, that will be part of our life. And then first we will see that on wearables, which we are now seeing, starting from camera access, which Christoph will explain. And then we believe that it will be also part of robots. So our goal is to prepare you for this era. This is a quite complex mechanics, because we are trying to mimic human senses. It is not easy, right? But I think we are on the good way of going towards that vision. And how we are doing that, we have actually SensAI Academy announcement done actually 2 months ago. Our goal is to make the community team up with XR, CV, AI devs, and engineers and researchers, so you can actually have a cross-functional team or a know-how transfer, so you can actually create amazing prototypes or learn from each other. That's why we are, as you know from our previous open lectures and workshops, we also did the same. We are trying to bring both sides of the world, CV side, XR side, and then close the skills and know-how gap of that. And this SensAI Academy is perfect because we have very exciting announcements coming up in terms of hackathons, which I will explain, but most importantly also you will have early access to exclusive dev kits. And the idea is to make sure that you get your hands dirty on this and then bring the knowledge you are gaining on these weekly workshops to life with your amazing creative ideas. We are in any kind of big XR AI CV event we are trying to be part of. These are one of the few events, MIT, Harvard, AWE. We are trying to help the community. If you are building something or having a community, feel free to reach us on Discord. Our team will share the Discord. And we are creating a lot of workshops, right? Like and hackathons. And you are now being part of it. And last workshop, I don't know how many of you have seen that, but we worked with RoboFlow. Actually, RoboFlow is also a strong partner of OpenCV as well. We get the chance to create something. You can see the sound.
You might want to drop the volume a little bit on that drum.
So as you see here, basically the cards are tracked, but in addition to that, there's actually a poker odds API that we connected. So when you look at the hand, you can see the power meter there that shows the strength of your hand. And yeah, our CV powered normal player actually win all the time against a professional player. So that's an amazing opportunity. And we did that last week. Again, like today, there were hundreds of people joining. It was really amazing to see so much interest. And this is probably one of the first ones that you see an pre-trained model is directly running on a Quest headset in such a excellent like accuracy. So we wanted to make sure that actually we bring these kind of superpowers together. And we have another workshop coming up from Aman Bohra. I think he's also around here, but like just to tell you that this is also one of the interesting things because you are basically creating amazing pool experience, and the idea is to make sure that you are tracking the ball again to make sure that you learn how to actually make the best trick shots or pool shots here. Today we will also talk about ball tracking. I think whatever Christoph will show today will be also very nice base and detail, and then Aman will take it from there. And it will happen next week. If you haven't already registered, our team will also share the Eventbrite link of this next session. Actually, we have already like the Eventbrite page, so you can go and then check all the upcoming workshops. Because as I mentioned today on the social media, we don't want to stop if you guys are very happy to see that. And in addition to open lectures, we are doing a lot of hackathons. We already did one in Germany. Now the next stop is Barcelona and then San Francisco. We are starting again in November. Unite before Unite in Barcelona. We will have amazing 3 days in a very nice location. You will enjoy the city and the people there. And then afterwards, San Francisco, early December. And then it's going like we will not stop in terms of hackathons, and there will be also online ones for those who cannot make it to these locations in person. But why we are doing this hackathons, right? Like, okay, we have kids and workshops, but why we are doing this? Because we want to make sure that we provide you something that you can actually learn, try, and then hack quickly, prototype quickly. And then we have created the first Unity plugins, focusing on one of them, zero shot detection. So you don't need to even um, like make a setup or anything and train your model. You can directly start using it with an NVIDIA NIM. And in addition to that, we work with also again RoboFlow to create this kit that you can also bring your pre-trained model to Unity. This works on Unity, but also on MetaQuest, so you can directly use it. And it was an amazing opportunity for us to really try using these things. And one more announcement. This is very interesting. I don't know if you have heard about this.
Lower the volume.
Amazing. So we are proud to announce to bring Richie as well to the next hackathon. So the idea is to also bring your context-aware apps to robots. There are already tons of people who are already into robotics as well. Already start thinking of how we can bring wearables, context-aware AI, computer vision, and these kind of cool robots to life in a very interesting project. So we are looking forward to make your hands into these cool devices and kits. And up to now, as you may have seen that we have done this, all of these kits. So what we have seen is it really works. Like we normally in a typical XR hackathon, we had 10% of the projects were like computer vision enabled, but we managed to bring it to 67%. This is very important for us because we want to make sure that you use it. You know, like we are not working months for something that will not be used. We really want to build something that's meaningful. And in addition to that, Meta Connect, Meta announced amazing building blocks and AI kits, which is also available as well. So you can basically, by the time of hackathons, you will be also use them. So all the superpowers you need will be available there. So the next hackathons, as we mentioned in Barcelona, our team is now sharing the link of the hack so you can directly apply. There are two stages. Please apply and then make sure. And for online one, we will announce soon. So please bear with us in a few weeks. But Barcelona and San Francisco, you can already apply now. Since there is a huge interest and we are also selecting based on the interest commitment, I suggest you apply as early as possible so we can arrange logistics with you. Perfect. So I will stop here. I want to hand over the stage to OpenCV team first before moving to the Christoph's slides. So I don't know. Do you want me to share screen or
No,
is it okay?
you can share the screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hello, Satya again. Welcome.
Yeah, very excited to be here. Just wanted to say hello to everybody and give a quick introduction of OpenCV. So my name is Satya Mallick. I have been the CEO of OpenCV since 2019. And just to give you an overview of OpenCV, it started about 25 years back. It was released, the library was released in the year 2000 at CVPR, Computer Vision and Pattern Recognition Conference. And before that, it was being developed internally inside Intel as a computer vision library. And Dr. Gary Bradsky, he had the foresight to make it public because public and open source, because he thought that there were a few labs that had a monopoly on writing papers because people did not have access to algorithms, right? Even if you wanted to implement a canny edge detector, you had to actually create this by yourself, right? So OpenCV came along and it really democratized computer vision. And you can go to opencv.org. So opencv.org is the nonprofit organization that maintains the OpenCV library. You can go, you can use this QR code to scan and go to the homepage, and you will see that, you know, in addition to the library, we also do other things so that we can fund the development of the open source project. For example, we have OpenCV University, and that helps, you know, it's an educational platform. If you want a career in computer vision and AI, that's the place to start. All you need is basic knowledge of Python programming. So OpenCV is the world's biggest computer vision library, and it is, you know, it is 100% free. All we say is that use as much as you want. You don't even have to acknowledge that you have used OpenCV. Just don't sue us, right? That's what the Apache license, Apache 2 license is. And it has a collection. A lot of people don't realize how many different algorithms it has. It has about 2,500 different algorithms. The same algorithm, right, is usually implemented in many different ways depending on the platform so that you get the fastest performance. And this is also, I mean, some fun fact about OpenCV is that it is downloaded about 1 million times a day, right, which is 30 million times per month. You know, half of it is about C++, half is Python. And this is also the library that was used in Stanley. Stanley is the first car that completed the DARPA Grand Challenge in the year 2005, autonomously traveling about 132 miles in the Mojave Desert. And it's now actually part of American history. You can see it in the Smithsonian Museum. And the computer vision library that was powering this was OpenCV, and Dr. Gary Bradsky was part of the Stanley team. It's also, you know, OpenCV is widely used even in space exploration. In fact, the Mars mission, the helicopter that was used in the Mars mission, they acknowledged all the open source tools that they were using, and OpenCV was prominently in that list. On Thursdays, we also have OpenCV Live. This is a weekly webinar that we have. We bring in the community, we bring in some guests. Phil Nelson, who is also on the show, organizes the show. And every Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific time, we have it. If you're interested in computer vision, AI in general, this is an amazing place to be so that you can learn a lot about what's going on. And it's not, we don't just focus on OpenCV library, we focus on anything, any news related to computer vision and AI. Sometimes we have tutorials, sometimes we have guests, sometimes we have people from the industry, sometimes from the academia. So it's a mix of people. Basically, the theme is, if you're interested in computer vision, this is the place to be on Thursday, 9 a.m. Pacific time.
Yes, that's right. And I'm there too. And our guest tomorrow will be Ali Palavani from the OpenCV community. We're doing part 2 of our series on simultaneous localization and mapping. Which SLAM algorithm is right for you based on your use case? We're going to take a look at probably about 6 more SLAM algorithms, including Resply, KissSlam, Mola, Roman, and more. So stop by. I dropped the link in the chat there, or you can go to opencv.org/live and see any all of our various outputs there. We're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, we're on Zoom, we're on LinkedIn Live. We try to go pretty much everywhere that people are.
All right. And finally, I already mentioned about OpenCV University. This is, this is a program which teaches you how to start from the very basics all the way to mastery in computer vision and AI. And this is not for people who just want a, 1-week course to get started. This is, it takes time, right? 2 of our foundational courses, which we say that are required for you to start a career in computer vision, they take 3 months each, right? So about 6 to 7 months you have to spend learning not only computer vision, but also deep learning. So we have courses like Fundamentals of Computer Vision and Image Processing, and then deep learning with PyTorch, deep learning with TensorFlow and Keras. We have a Gen AI course. So it's a very comprehensive program for people who are interested in this. Any questions, quick questions before we dive into the exciting part?
Yeah, I have one. Satya, is that the same hat or do you have multiple copies of the same hat that you wear?
I have 3 exactly same hat. And I keep buying every year. I feel that the company will go out of business or something. So every year I buy a new one. So it keeps adding up.
It
Okay,
brings luck as well, so we should also try them.
The funny
that's
thing is
right.
that they don't, even though it is the same hat, technically it's not exactly the same. You know, there is minor changes in color. The size is also sometimes different. So I have a collection.
Perfect, perfect. By the way,
Excellent.
I think Phil, you answered. The if someone wants to become like a volunteer for OpenCV, I think, yeah, Phil already shared. We can also share on the chat. On our site as well, we have lots of hackathons that you can join as a hacker, but also as a volunteer. Our team is also sharing that. So if you would like to be volunteering, let us know. I also would like to see how many of you are from XR audience, how many of from CV audience. I have actually a few more questions. So let me quickly share. Is there any OpenCV plugin for Unity provided by OpenCV directly? Okay, this is a Phil and Christoph will probably answer that as well. We will explain this to you. We
Right.
already, I think, in contact. I don't know, maybe Lara. I don't know if they are already here. We can already maybe invite them if they are already here. But who wants to answer that? Phil or Satya?
Phil, you can go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean there is currently not technically an official OpenCV plugin for Unity, but we definitely be interested in making that happen if anybody's listening out there that has some of the unofficial ones working.
Yeah,
Perfect.
so there are community members who have published unofficial ones, and we encourage that. In fact, OpenCV Python, until 2020, I think, or 2021 maybe, it was not supported directly by OpenCV. There was a community member who was, so I
Wow.
reached out to him, and he was so generous to give us access. So now we maintain it. The same thing with Unity. Currently there is an unofficial plugin, and we would love to collaborate with the author of the plugin to make it official.
Amazing, amazing. I
Yeah,
mean,
we're super easy to get at as well. Just hello@opencv.org. That'll come right to us.
wonderful, wonderful. And anything that we are building these kits for hackers, so anything that we can help. Christoph already did a very nice job of utilizing this kit in the most sophisticated way possible. So I don't think that there is anything else that can be done beyond that because you are literally using it on a camera access on a wearable. So that's a great opportunity. So one more question: has AI tools like ChatGPT or Claude been trained with OpenCV?
No, so they have access to all the OpenCV documentation, all the code, etc. So when you actually when you ask Cloud or ChatGPT to write code, you don't even have to mention that use OpenCV, right? It will automatically use OpenCV and produce the code. So they have, yes, it has been trained. We did not specifically do it, but they consumed the entire internet, and as part of that, and I have written a lot of OpenCV code using ChatGPT, so I know that it works really well.
Okay, there's a
Yeah, and
question. I think.
speaking
Yeah, go
speaking
ahead.
of code, I'm going to drop a link here in the chat. OpenCV CEO Satya here also has a website called learnopencv.com, which is quite popular and has a bunch of free resources for code and projects. So I'm dropping a link in the chat here, the complete guide to object tracking in computer vision. So maybe as a sister item to this here webinar, you can go read this blog post as well.
Amazing, amazing. Does the OpenCV University include how to incorporate models into Unity best practices? Uh, yeah, anything that you
No,
already have?
we currently don't have. It's very core computer vision, the thing. So you will learn all about model training, the fundamentals, the how the model architecture works. So So we have not added the XR part to it yet, but you will learn a lot about computer vision, and
Yeah,
you'll be
we were
surprised
talking
how
with
many. Yeah,
Phil about that as well. If there's
yeah.
a huge demand, I mean, Grace, what you have said is very nice. If there's an interest, uh, I mean, the top people are here, so we will just basically join
Right.
forces to make
In
this
fact,
possible.
we have a bunch of free courses as well people can sign up for, and if there is interest, we can talk later on, right? If there is interest, we can make an XR free course
Exactly,
also, 3 hour, right? And then we'll see how it goes and what is
exactly.
the interest, right?
Yeah, we were discussing this with Phil. I think what I'm seeing right now is a lot of questions about that. Does OpenCV work with Snap spectacles? As far as I know, Christoph, no, right? As far as we know, we don't. It's like, does it work with Lens Studio?
It I'm not 100% sure, but Snap was working internally, so
Okay.
they might have produced something. So they definitely use internally, they use it, but I don't know whether it has been exposed as an API that people can easily use.
Yeah, and I know Snap uses OpenCV, like for example, in their phone applications. If you look at the open source disclosures, you'll see OpenCV
Mm,
listed in there.
very nice,
Yeah.
very nice. Perfect, perfect. No, all of these questions are really related. Like, haven't checked the website yet. Hackathon is CV plus AR, or can it be CV plus Arduino and other stuff? Hackathons, we will, as long as you have computer vision, which is sensing capabilities, we will be definitely open to bring your computer vision plus a robot or Arduino or any kind of hardware. That's definitely open to that for our future hackathons. I'm pretty sure, especially Phil, we talk with him as well, especially San Francisco Hackathon. It is literally next door for him, so it will not be difficult for him to drop by to
That's
answer
right.
any kind of OpenCV questions. Um,
I may be convinced to walk the block and a half to the event.
exactly, exactly. So all these kits will be available for hackers, but there will be also online hackathon. So everything will be available on for hackers. But if you want to access to these kits, you can just join our online hackathon. That's the only way. Everything is free, anyways. So we will announce the online hackathon. So just follow us. Follow me on LinkedIn, Twitter, so we make sure that you are aware, and newsletter, of course. We make sure that you join the online hackathon, which will make you automatically accessing all these exclusive kits. Everyone is asking about course, guys, so we should do something like
We
this
should
is the third,
collaborate.
fourth question, and in the poll as well, many people are saying like they are wanting to explore, like over 56% saying that they want to sorry 91% say that they want to explore either a CV or XR or together. So
Wow,
like, I
nice.
think we know the next step.
Right.
Is there an algorithm or use case for OpenCV for geo AI or geospatial analysis?
Yeah, it's widely used, right? I mean, when we spatial so geo is basically satellite imagery, etc. Widely used. In fact, when they landed recently, they landed a rover on Moon, and they used OpenCV extensively to do feature detection and match it to previous pictures of Moon so that they could land properly. So that kind of satellite imagery and is used extensively. And also when we say spatial AI, we mean RGBD as well, right? So whenever we have depth sensing, that's also we have OpenCV natively supports some of the depth cameras. For example, the Orbic cameras, which basically is Microsoft Kinect. They licensed it, and Orbeck is producing those cameras, and OpenCV natively supports that. You can plug in that camera and it will get you the depth image as well. Yeah, so very widely used in that field as well.
Amazing, amazing. So I think we had a lot of questions. I think it will definitely not be the last OpenCV event or thing we are doing together, guys. It looks like the interest is huge. I have one question. Probably Christoph is the person who will answer that, but I would like to thank you to Satya, you join us in such a short notice. Phil, again, thanks for your collaboration. I think we are just starting, guys. Like, let's build this Sense AI future together, finding a way how we can use it for wearables and solving these tech stack integration problems together, and then make sure that developers, hackers, professionals, researchers have a little bit better, comfortable time while they are building their dream projects, research projects, and apps.
Yeah, and let's keep it open source, huh? Thanks for
Yeah,
having
why
us.
not? Why not? Perfect. Thank you again, Satya and Phil. I want to give the stage to Christoph. And in the meantime, there's a question called, is there a proper resource to learn 3D CV, as the normal ones we learn mostly deals 2D? So Christoph, I think you will, at least whatever you will see today, will definitely help towards that direction. So it's nice starting point, I would say.
Yeah,
Perfect.
thank you so much. Should I share my screen
Yeah.
and use the presentation?
Yeah, you can share your screen.
Okay.
You can share your screen.
Okay.
By the way, everyone, you can already
Okay.
submit your
No.
questions, so anyone but make sure that Christoph, you add a low sound, because you have lots of videos. We want to make sure that we hear that. Perfect. Okay, if you can slideshow. Yes, we are seeing exactly. You need to remove yourself. We are still seeing. If you can make the right part, the right button in your screen. So share the screen again, and then put your camera into the like a minimize mode. So just share screen again. Let's do one more time. Just share the screen of the presentation browser, and share the sound, and we will make your camera so no one will see. He has speaker access, no problem. He has access to everything. It just we just don't want you to we want you to see the whole screen, so full screen. Thank you, Satya, by the way, again, for your time.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
I'll see you
you.
later.
Bye-bye. Great. A green big button, there's a share screen, share button in the bottom of your Zoom. I think you shared screen before.
Yeah, I think it's maybe better without my headset, if you can hear me now.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah,
No problem.
definitely.
Then I will do it without headset.
It's much better even.
Okay.
So, perfect. So just exactly share screen, exactly perfect. Spotlight. That one you need to close. There's exactly that one. Perfect. Wonderful. Wonderful. Perfect. Just go to your slide maybe quickly, and then we are good to go. You can just scroll down or right click. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Stage is yours.
Christoph, you're muted.
Yeah. You are muted, so you just need to you are already in the you just need to in the screen there is a place called unmute. Yeah, click on your Zoom. There is unmute on the left, because of your microphone. You need to remove your microphone. Otherwise, it's using two things. Okay, let me take over quickly. So in the meantime, you can fix it. Sorry, everyone. Sometimes these things can happen. It is almost like a computer vision, so it's normal. We just need to wait. In the meantime, I'm looking at the chat and questions. So I will share one more poll in the meantime.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Perfect.
No,
So just
perfect.
don't mute.
Sorry so much.
All good, all good. Just do the same share screen. In the meantime, I'm releasing one more poll.
Yeah.
And we can already start now. Perfect. Just exactly. Perfect. Just remove your thing. Wonderful.
Okay. So, okay. Sorry. Now I'm here, and actually, I also already introduced. I'm doing some ball tracking game for the MetaQuest 3 actually and 3S, and I'm using OpenCV for this mostly. I also have some other approaches we will see in the end of this presentation. But the most promising approach actually is using OpenCV because it's really fast, and with that I can really reach the 32 frames per second that I need on the Quest minimum. Better would be 90. I think actually if I let it run, it's kind of 82 frames per second or something. So it's really, really quick. But before we come to this, I will say a few words about me. So, hey, I'm Chris, and actually, I'm doing since 2012 only virtual reality stuff, or mixed reality stuff, or augmented reality stuff, but nothing else actually. So, 2012, I started We Are Nerds as a company, and our first game that we delivered was Tower Tech. It was an arcade-only game or mostly game. So actually, there was also possible to play it on Steam, on Oculus Quest, but actually, mostly it was an arcade game. And then I founded my own VR arcade in Hamburg with a few partners, the VR HQ. And after that, things changed a little bit because there was the Corona time. When you look at the timeline, it's 2019, 2022, 2022. And Corona came up, and so we had to close all the arcades. And with that, we had for Tower Tech, for example, Sega as partner, and they had to close all the arcades in Japan. And so Tower Tech and VR Nerds, had to be closed in the end because of Corona. And then we started something new. I am not only started something new, I'm also changed my perspective on everything in the end, because from 2012 to 2022, I was running my own business with VR Nerds. So we had our own products, our own projects, and everything else. And after that, I changed this a bit because since 2022, I was working for Axel Springer in Germany. It's the biggest media outlet in Germany. And since this year, I'm working for the Telekom, and MMS is the biggest mobile provider here in Germany. So, but at the same time, I'm doing still my own projects. And for example, I was co-developer of Laser Limbo. It's a mixed reality game, also really known. And since this year, I'm doing Ballee. It's a ball tracking game. And since this year, all my life is about camera access and ball tracking. And that's why I'm really excited to talk about this today. So Ballee is bringing his TV in this room, and I hope you are ready, because actually I have some videos, but I also will comment everything. And please ask questions, I think at the best in the end, about everything. I think, we don't do here something like ChatGPT Q&A. So don't ask me something about technical questions, you can figure this out on your own, I think, in the end. But if you want to have some first-hand experiences or questions to this, then let me know. I'm really happy to answer this. But I also have prepared a lot of slides, and we have to go through this quickly because we already late in time. But I think that's better because actually quick and good, I think it's the best way to do so. So we start at the end, like all good Netflix movies, starting at the end. So we have a look what I delivered now actually last month, I think, for the Meta Quest. It's a sandbox game called Ballee, and it's the first ball tracking game for Meta Quest. So let's have a look.
We cannot hear the sound. Maybe you can share with sound.
It's not so important, but yeah, let me check.
Yeah, up to you. I mean, if your next videos are related with
Yeah,
sound,
but I thought let
you
me
can
share
just
again.
close sharing and open sharing, but there's a button there while you are share button, green button. There's a place on the right
Yeah,
that tells share sound.
yeah, I have this.
Okay, then you need to maybe open your YouTube video. Ah, perfect, perfect. A little bit sound, a little bit lower sound, so we don't hear so much. Perfect. Let's go. Amazing. You are muted, so we need to open that. Now we can hear you.
I now figured it out. It's always when I share my screen with the
Yeah, it
sound,
makes mute. Yeah.
then it mutes me. Yeah, that's really not good. But actually, we don't need that much sound. Let's I will share again with sound when we have the trailer. But I think for the next videos, it's better when I say something for it.
Perfect.
Alexa is talking in the background, but let's start here. So, Ballee, the ball tracking game, actually, it's a longer story than I thought because 2022, I think, made this video here. You can see right now.
Can you share the screen? Because we cannot see your
Sorry.
screen. Yeah.
Then without voice, let me check.
Yeah, without sound, no problem.
Yeah. Sorry. Can you see it now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. You can see here I did the first experiments like 2022, and I thought like I need a game where I need a controller that is not a real controller. I thought I want to have something like a Mac light or maybe a laser pointer, and with that I want to control a game. And my idea was, okay, at this moment I had a HoloLens at home and stuff like this, but this was not ready for this kind of stuff. And so I first made my first steps with some beamer and some projection. And I used OpenCV in the end to track here some balls that falling down, and then using some edge detection to let them reflect from the edges. And these were, in the end, the first steps that I tried to make ball tracking make convincible. For already I thought about XR headsets, but at this time, yeah, it was not powerful enough. And so I had here my small, oh, it's called MacLight? No, there's another word. But anyways, I made here a small game where you have balloons and you can blob them in the end with your light ball. And you have in the end an interactive game just with some light and a beamer projection. It's not working always, but most of the time. And yeah, after this video, it took many months, I think like 1.5 years, until I came back to this idea, because in the end Meta started to open up their system for sharing or accessing the camera. And so I was sitting in our arcade, actually, as you saw in the beginning. I also doing Laser Limbo. It's an arcade game. And I was sitting there and was wondering, like, okay, we want to use now this kind of technology for tracking a space. So we want to have it for anchor tracking, for QR tracking, and so on. But could it be also be usable for tracking a ball, like I did back in the days for my game? And after like 1 day or 2 days, I figured out really quickly, of course, with help of AI, to track my ball. Not super perfectly, but good enough that it convinced me that this could be a really nice game element. So here, this was kind of in the beginning of the year, I think in March. And as you can see, it's already really fast. It's not perfect, of course, but yeah, it's good. And actually, I thought, okay, this could be a fun way to play games in the future. Maybe not exactly for the Quest, but let's see. We will talk about this also later. But especially just in general, because I was also always looking for some other input methods, let's say like this, because actually in the beginning of the Vive and this kind of headsets, I also experimented with some attachments. Like I tried to make a sword out of my controllers and so on. And I think this is a really fun way to play around with this kind of technology. And so here the next step was like thinking about what is happening. Yeah, you can have a ball on the ground, but what you do with it, like, is it a game where you have to aim for something? Is it a game where it's kind of a sports game where you will have make some points in a time? Is it really sweaty? Is it chilled? Is it whatever? Like, it's a completely new category. And I think with this kind of things or this kind of tracking, you can make a lot of game ideas, and you can develop a lot of games. Depends just what you want to achieve in the end. So I can think about so many use cases, but we will see a lot of them right now or in the next minutes. So, but I think there are way more use cases, and not only for balls. And we will also come to this later. But let's check out the first ball stuff. As you can see here, it's in some garage kind of, and here the ball is just tracked by a blob tracking in the end, what I did with OpenCV, and the targets from the wall are falling down. I did this with some in the end some cubes, because it looks a little bit cooler if they're falling down not as one object, more like it's made of many parts, like it's exploding in a way. I made this also better in the next videos, but this was the first thingy. And here you can see more of this. In the end, it's really responsive, and you can also see that it's not ignoring some parts. So it's really accurate at some time. But the truth is also the room has to be perfect for this. You know, like you can see here, the ball tracking is for a pink ball in a room that has nothing pink. So it's really perfect for this. And that's why it's really, really working good. But also in a little bit more noisy rooms, it's working. But how we can achieve this, we will see also later. But you can also use the ball not only for playing soccer. If you are more lazy, you can just put a ball on a car, for example. And then you can make your own, how was it called? Micro machines back in the days. Your own micro machine parkour in your room. And you can drive around with your car. And just put a ball on the back in the end. And it doesn't have to be pink. It just has to be one color, actually. Why? We will also hear later. So, and car is not the only thing you can do. You can also use it for an RC boat, for example. And have way more fun than before with your RC boat, because now you can collect stuff. And this was really one of the things I was really looking for with the camera access, because I was dreaming about an RC boat with camera kind of capabilities before, and now it doesn't has own capabilities for camera access, but this remote access feels really, really good. So I think there is also a future in the end. And but the question was still where will I go with this? Because actually, okay, I can track a ball and it's fine. And tracking a ball is kind of nerdy thing. You find a lot of people who think that's interesting, but I still was not sure where is it a game? Is it a kind of a sandbox? Is it a science thingy? Is it a kind of experiment? Still not sure about this, but that's why in Ballee, then you have also a level editor to in the end form your own game out of this, because the color tracking is a super cool mechanism, but in the end, what helps you the mechanism if you don't have a game for it? And Ballee still don't has a real game for it. I'm doing something in this direction right now, but what it has is a map editor, as you can see here, where you in the end can make your own parcours, and you can also make your own stage really with time tracking and so on to compete with other people. But still, I wasn't sure. So I did a lot of stuff. So here you can see a parkour in the basement where I have some exploding walls, and then I have some here wall objects that you can destroy or just to turn around right now. And then you have the balling stuff. You can see now, so you can play some balling with your feet. It's really fun. I think it's one of the most fun things with Ballee for me. And actually, I think also to release this as a separate game in the next months. Let's see if I have time. There are some glass thingies, and here I try to keep the ball up to collect the coins. Yeah, and then I can put the wall again, and I have my time. So this is kind of the sandbox thingy, and it's still like this. If you right now checking out Ballee, you can get it for free on the Oculus Store, and it is a sandbox where you have a map editor, and you can make your own parkour, and you can, in the end, compete with your friends or whoever, or you just with yourself. But it's not kind of a one-player game loop, but this will become in the future. So, but if you want to do sports, and I think the Quest is still one of the devices where I mostly like to do sports things, then Ballee is a game you should have a look on. because like this year, the juggling experience you can do with Ballee is just a really good training to learn this kind of stuff. Or here also just with the coins to try to make a parkour where you in the end dribble around with your ball. It's really exhausting, but it's really fun at the same time. Or you can also use it in a completely different way, because in Ballee you can use every ball, because as I said in the beginning, it's in the end OpenCV color tracking what we're using here. And so, of course, the Quest is a device that has not so much processing power. It's more like a mobile device, and so we have to keep the processing really low. And that's why I think most of the time I'm just using 640p of the video stream to achieve this quality. So that means in the end that really small balls on distance will be hard to track. But as you can see here in this video, it's good enough to have it like in, I would say like in squash distance to play with, even with the 640p. So I'm using here the ball and the tennis racket. Should just smash the insects on the wall. And it's working quite well. Yeah, and but maybe I just had to add weapons. That's why I then thought, okay, let's add weapon mode also for the Ballee games. And so here for the car game mode, for example, we have also this weapon that in the end has some enemies and it can shoot at them. And I got inspired of this from Vampire Survivors in the end to because that's really simple, just walk around and you're shooting, but you have to be carefully walk around. And the same approach in the end is the next video. Again, the boat is back, but I have here some sharks, I have some environment I made, and in the end also some stuff to make it more kind of look more realistic for the users, and also the shooting mechanism here. And it's really fun to use, but still it's super niche. You can, I mean, you have to use an RC car or RC boat. So who will use it? Maybe 2 or 3 people, but it's okay for me right now, I have to say. I like to do this experiment also for not that super big audience. I think the soccer game, you will see this also later, has a bigger audience actually, and also I think there's a bigger value in it in the long term. But I like also this RC car approaches or RC boat approaches because, yeah, they are really cool and you have to try it out. It's different to using just a virtual car. I can really say it because if you just use a virtual car, it's not really good reacting to your underground or whatever. And this one is completely 100% reacting to everything. So it's way better. Yeah, but the gameplay, I think, got kind of his peak for now, at least, at the last XR CC hackathon here in Berlin, because they are teamed up with Daniel, and we used the color tracking that I already figured out with Ballee and used it for some gameplay with the Quest, and not kind of the parkour thing. We made a real game around it, and it's really cool. I'm really proud of it, and I'm really happy that Daniel also wants that we will work on this in the future. But right now, it's not included in Ballee, but it will in the future. So let's have a look at this trailer. Now it would be better with sound, I think. So let me quickly share again.
movement and use exciting, playful elements to win over even the most reluctant couch potatoes. That's why we are combining the popular and well-known survivor-style mechanics with Meta's Camera API to bring the best of both worlds together. Collect the shoes to get the highest possible discount. Rise to the top. Be the king of the day and earn your trophy. Nice. Bam! Nice, nice.
Muted you again. You have to. Yeah.
Hello, complicated, but we can do it. So in the next video, you can see the same game in the end, just with the Ballee meshy file. Oops, I did it with AI, but on the tabletop. So I made everything smaller because maybe you don't have the space to run around in your backyard. And I thought this would be a cute idea for playing the ball around on your table. And it uses the same mechanics, but just a green ball here, because actually we can use, because of the color tracking, every ball color that we want. I'm just using the pink ball color mostly because it's kind of unique in the most rooms. If you look around the most rooms, you have some white, of course, and you have some black, and you have sometimes some blue, but pink is really, really rare. But in the end, you can choose your ball color with Ballee anytime. And to make this also more kind of interesting for the people to watch, I also did some estimation with the camera access of Meta. Just to have a quick note here, we can just go quickly through this. So you see here that I using the camera feed with the analysis to predict the brightness and the shadows and also the cube maps. So the reflections are all did with the camera axis, and that makes just the objects that you also saw in my video before more realistic looking. Now this, yeah. Okay, so now everything looks realistic, but why? And why it looks, or why the tracking is good. There are a lot of steps. I just give you a quick overview. It's in the end not that super complicated, but you have to, in the end, think about a few things. First of all, is the camera, because you need a thread for the processing. In the end, what I'm doing right now is that I get the camera feed, and I think I scale it first, and then in the end I put it in a thread where it completely runs on its own, and then giving back the results. And this is only for one frame, and for the newest frame always, and for the newest camera frame. And why we will see also in a second. Because we have also a pose history and delay, means in the end, the camera or the camera picture, before it arrives your headset, it needs some time, right? So I think actually it's around about 40 or 60 milliseconds, something between this. And, you know, like if you want to use your camera vision right now, when the frame is there, then you are 60 milliseconds or 40 milliseconds in the future or in the past from the frame that actually you want to analyze. So you have to store your pose history of all the movement of your headset to, in the end, match it then with the camera captures. Because, as I said, it's like 40 or 60 milliseconds, and it's always kind of the same. So if you are sticking to one frame rate and you don't exceed it this lot, then it will stay at the same delay. So if you make it a fixed time of like 40 or 60 milliseconds, you are really good. And but of course, you can do it better if you just store the timestamps in the end, and then you look for the best fit. But why this is not the best thing for Ballee, we will see in a second. Yeah, I think you already were reading through the rest. In the end, we downscale a lot of things because even the 640 I don't want to analyze, so I downscale it is at least I divide it by 2, and we use HSV and half circle for, in the end, first prediction if this is really a circle or not. But we don't need this every time. We will see this in a second also. For the pose history, I already got some example in the end, because the time we got the pose is not the time we got the picture. So the picture is coming like 60 milliseconds before the pose is coming, because the picture is happening on Android side, the pose is happening then, or it's also happening on Android side, but it's delayed in comparison to the camera picture. And so we have in the end to match both together then Unity or on the Unity runtime side. And we need a workers thread because we have a lot of heavy stuff to do, and the MetaQuest had multiply and workers, so we can use them. And what I'm using here for the low latency is just a queue size from 1. Why? Because I always want to use the freshest information. And this is really, 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 really different to other approaches, because if you want to track an QR code and you want to have it really reliable, that you say like this room of like 20 square meters is exactly mapped, then you don't want to have the first result, right? Then you don't want to use the first result. You maybe want to use 30 results, and then you make a median, and then you find out what is kind of the quintessence. But at ball tracking, you want to have the freshest result. You want to have the newest results, because it's really, really, really fast. Think about kicking against the ball. We cannot lose any milliseconds. And that's why, we can also skip this. That's why timing is, kind of a term that can be interpreted in different ways here, because actually, as you can see here, it's some project QR code tracking just for kind of make the space always in the same adjustments, that I have always the space exactly at the same place. This is working in the end with more accurate tracking, that I really in the end checking for, okay, I have my pose history and I have my camera picture history. And they, of course, are not fitting together always 100%, because not at every millisecond I'm doing a picture, right? So there is some gaps between. And if I'm moving in this time really quickly, then I also mess up my results. So in the end, that's why I'm using for this kind of tracking, where I really want to have it exact in a big space, in the end, a lot of frames, and find in the end the best results. But for kind of ball tracking, like for Ballee, I'm using the freshest result. So I'm using the first result. And this is really different. And that's why you have to, in the end, really be sure what you want to achieve. I think for something really, really fast, like Ballee for the ball tracking, you have, or maybe you have better ideas, but actually for me, it's like I have to use this kind of tracking approach. But if you do something else, then maybe it's better for you. You have some more accurate things, like more Aruku marker tracking, or in general QR code marker tracking. And then you take maybe 50 frames or 100 frames, and then you decide what is kind of the middle. And but for Ballee, it makes no sense. Even 2 frames would be too much, because we're talking about a really fast game. And so even it's not super accurate with every frame, we should go for this. At least that's what I'm thinking. And that's why I'm also don't do any prediction right now, because I tried a lot of things with prediction, and it's really hard. Because if you see this video here, I think this is the best example. We had this in the beginning, and you see here, I kick the ball behind me, I kick it under me, it's floating around, and in the end, nobody knows is the ball is moving, is my head is moving, is what is moving here right now. I think you can make some really complicated stuff that in the end calculates the movement of your headset out. But to be honest, I was not able to do this so far, and I spent a lot of time to try it out. But I think here are so many moves in the different directions, and also that the ball can reflect from so many things, that's really hard to predict something, at least without room scan. Maybe with room scan, you can predict more, but if you don't use a room scan, how it should be predictable in a good way. So maybe there are ways, so please let me know. I want to know, but I was not able to achieve it. So that's why I use just the newest frame for the ball prediction that I can get. But there are different ways to do so. Actually, as I said, I use the OpenCV blob tracking in the end. So I'm looking for the biggest blob, and then I use a half cycle circle tracking to check if it's really a ball. But I don't use it in a really strong way, because I also have sometimes the feed about my ball, and then it's of course not a real circle. So for this kind of situations, I need something better. And this would be YOLO tracking in the end. For example, in the end, I made some machine learning model, what you also saw last week. You see here the difference. So in the beginning, it was with color tracking. So the biggest blob here in the beginning is in front of me, of course. And then it's switching. It's not really accurate, but here it's with my YOLO model, and it's really accurate, staying at the place where the ball is, because it not gets distracted by the other things. But as you also can see, I touch the ball really gentle because it's not that fast as the other just color tracking. And that's why I also don't think that this is for Ballee the right approach. But just to let you know, you could improve this just taking the color tracking, then making a circle tracking. And if this both failed, then, or not failed, but if this is kind of, if the color tracking should be okay, and then the circle maybe failed, then you should use YOLO to still check if it's a ball and just maybe not really good visible, but it's slower. And but I'm not expert at this, and I think an expert is really coming next week. He did this with some pool billiard balls, and I'm really excited for this workshop by Eman. It's coming next week. And yeah, he using YOLO and the approach with some pool billiard balls. And I think because it's not rolling all the time, it's really good to use YOLO. So I'm really excited about this. And also, what? Who is this?
I think this is me.
Okay. I just thought here's. Okay, here's the picture. Yeah, and also last week there was here Nigel and Jackson, and Nigel also really talented guy, and Jackson also, and they showed also how you can use computer vision for AI poker. And yeah, also if you want to learn more about training a model and so on, then please look at their session. It's already uploaded on YouTube, so you don't have to wait. You can just watch it right now. And I would really recommend you to do so. Because this is really cool shit, and you should prepare if you have a own gambling business. So what I also tried is to make this kind of AI model and CV stuff, combining to make it fast and still reliable. It's kind of a color tracking, half cycle, and mobile net approach. This is working, and you can use kind of it for this kind of stuff. I will show you here. Yeah, I don't know if you, I think you couldn't hear it, but in the end, it was possible to really collect the drops with the cup. And that's why I called it cup games. I think this kind of small things could be something really fun in the future. And in the end, you know how far a cup could be away from you. I mean, it's still hard to predict, but I already had an idea to do so, to predict it more better. As in the end, you have the environment raycast from Meta, and you can use the color tracking and the mobile net. And in the end, you can also use the color tracking on mobile net to kind of make an hierarchy. What is the next thing you should check? And the environment raycast can in the end see where the object is in the room, because he can know the distance. And in the end, how I optimize this is kind of, I use the color tracking to first find the blobs in the big picture. And from this, I really cut out only the color tracked blob, and I send it to the mobile net that I run directly on Quest. And in the end, it's only the small blob that got detected by the color tracking. So MobileNet only gets this small blob, so it had less processing power to use, and then it gives it to the environment raycast to determine the position in the room on the z-axis. So this is working quite well, but not fast enough for the ball tracking, I would say. That's why I'm still I'm sticking to the easiest approach with just color tracking for Ballee, but for the cup tracking, as you saw right now, this approach would be way more efficient. And yeah, here just in the end, another visualization of this. And with YOLO, you can do the same in the end. And you already have then the X and Y position. That's why also Meta using this, I guess Meta using YOLO for the keyboard tracking and so on, because in the end you just need this model. Maybe you even don't need the environment raycast, and you can find it in your scene. Yeah, but just my guessing. But Ballee already run a lot today, so I am really proud to just share with you that Ballee, I started this like 3 or 4 months ago at a real prototyping stage with the new Meta SDK. Then I was at a hackathon and tried to make a game out of it. And now it was already showcased at the IAPA. It's the biggest exhibition for amusement stuff, like roller coasters and things like that. And they're looking for new amusement stuff. And so there was the first showcase in a really, really small room. I was really shocked to seeing this, but it was working quite well. So he's collecting here the coins now, and now there are the insects he can smash. And now he's using the pins to play some bowling, and then taking the ball and throw it against the wall. So everything working just perfect. I'm really proud of that. And but the question is, of course, is the Quest the best device for this kind of color tracking? And I think no. It's actually, I mean, the best option because there are not so many options. But I'm really looking forward for more AR devices where I can use this tracking with the same quality and with the same speed. Because I think, like as Meta using here on the left side with their wristband, I think the ball could be also a nice attachment for this kind of devices, and not only for young people who wants to learn soccer training, also for old people who maybe wants to learn moving again, like in with the Nintendo Wii back in the days. We had a lot of old people who started to play again, and I think this could be the next Wii moment in the end for people who wants to move their body again, maybe also in older age. Yeah, but that's all from my side. If you want to play Ballee right now, I can really recommend. Then just scan this QR code. It's balltrackinggame.com. You can also find it there. It's for free. And I would be really happy about everyone who tries it, everyone who lets a review there, because it's really experimental. And I am just an inventor and a founder. And yeah, I would be really, really happy about everyone who gives me some feedback. And also, I have the privilege to be in the next reality contest this year. And if you want to help me out, then please click on this link. There's a community voting, and it's exactly for this kind of purposes. So you don't do anything wrong. It's exactly to mobilize your community to vote for this kind of award. And yeah, to get in the end the award. There's also no money in place, just an award, but you could really help me to get this one because it would make me also really proud. And if you want to talk more with me, then just check xrchris.com. It's my private website where you can find my portfolio and everything I'm doing right now. Yeah, I'm really happy to connect always. So thank you so much for your time. And now I'm open for your questions.
Wonderful, wonderful, Christoph. Thank you for your really amazing. You brought us to a journey of how actually a small prototype, maybe experiment that maybe at the beginning you were not thinking that it comes to that level, right? So it evolves in such a short period of time. You learn, you share this, your learnings, your lessons with us throughout the journey. So it's like a child that grow up together with the community, you know. So that's an amazing opportunity. Our team also shared the link of your game and your next reality nomination. So I think for us as people benefiting from these excellent postmortems and all these know-how sharing that you are spending a lot of. I know how many days you have spent for only for this session. So I think it's our duty to give feedback to you by testing the game, but also to give back by nominating you. So I think we want to make sure that we have lots of like people like Christophs of the world also getting inspired by you, right? So that's what we are always striving for. So thanks for really doing this amazing presentation. And we are really right on time, and we have, of course, like questions, as you can imagine. So I also started a poll, and then it gives a lot of idea that especially as far as I see, long inference times and delayed responses is one of the most challenging parts, people are saying, and aligning 2D AI outputs into 3D environments, which that's something that we have been talking, right? Is one of the second biggest challenging parts of integrating CV into XR apps. So yeah, I hope that at least by seeing what you have built, it will make our life a little bit easier while integrating this. So thank you again. So let's go over the questions if you want. We are collecting questions on the Q&A tab. So if you haven't, if you have submitted your question on the chat, unfortunately, it's not easy for us to read. So please make sure that you submit your questions on the Q&A tab. I'm trying to grab the questions now. 1 second. Q&A. Yeah. 1 second. Perfect. Great. So let's start. So first question, I had to use the pass-through API to place a hologram on MetaQuest using AR UCO markers with OpenCV. However, the placement wasn't very precise. This is in the medical field, so the hologram must be almost indistinguishable from the object. I would like to know if it is possible to improve the accuracy of 3D object placement with or without pass-through API, which currently limits me to a single camera, which shifts the hologram's placement. Yeah, it's a very
long question.
to the point, very concrete question. I don't know if it is easy to answer, but yeah.
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah, just use a lot of frames. And so what I did, what you couldn't see here right now, but I also did some tracking test from a skateboard, and I was really millimeter accurate from a skateboard. So what you have to do here is in the end not using the first frame, using multiple frames, and then in the end make a middle out of all the positions you got. And what you also have to do is you have to think about the delay you got, right? And the thing is why you think it's or we have the feeling it's not accurate, it's not about the camera that is not accurate, it's because it's delayed. Means like you moved just maybe a millimeter to the side, and so the distance, what the point is on the marker, is quite of maybe 2 centimeters away. And this just happens because of your small movements. Means in the end, if you compensate the movement that you maybe store your history of your movements and then make a delay of like 40 to 60 milliseconds, then you will reduce it a lot, first of all, and then you use kind of yeah, just the middle of like 20 or 30 recognized trackers, and then you use the middle point of them, and yeah, go from that with them, because the first one will be not the best one actually.
Okay. So we did an answer on this. Nice prediction algorithm. Is it also integrated into OpenCV? I don't know which slides it's being referred, but did you understand which one?
Yeah, there is no real prediction in the end, as I explained. What is in OpenCV directly, and what I'm also using is kind of the half circle detection. So you can in the end determine if it's a circle or not, and you can also use the blob detection. So you can find out what is the biggest kind of amount of color in this area, and also you can rank it. If you have like 3 different pink spots in the room, you can know what is the biggest, what is the smallest, and so on. This kind of is already integrated, everything in OpenCV. What is not integrated in the end is the, of course, or what means of course, but the computer vision stuff from YOLO and the mobile net things where you need kind of machine learning, this is not in OpenCV included.
Perfect. So that's great. And how did you place the coins in your car game correctly on physical furniture? How did you calibrate your virtual scene with your physical environment? Yeah, yeah, this is maybe a little bit like a Unity related question or MR related question as well.
Yeah, but I understood it. I think like, okay, yeah, because I only know the ground and I don't know the height of the objects, and yeah, my app also don't know the height of these objects. In the end, what I did is you have this editor, and if you push the trigger, then it just spawns the objects on the ground. But if you hold the trigger, then you can adjust the height of the object just by moving your arm up and down. So in the end, if you want to have a coin like on a ramp or something, then you just spawn it kind of on the ground, and then you lift up your controller a bit, and then it's on the ramp.
Okay, perfect. Steven asked, how do you find the discrepancy between where your hands really are and where the camera through the VR headset shows your hands and the balls? In mixed reality, it is using the camera to show you, but it's not perfectly aligned to catch a ball. This is an incredible question. We are talking with this Laura, but I would like to hear your take first. I don't
Okay.
know the answer perfectly, but I know that this is a question that we have been always considering how we can do that. But anything you would like to share about this?
Okay, interesting. Because actually, I think, especially after the last updates, I have the feeling it feels quite natural to catch the ball. Um, Maybe there is some learning curve, maybe, yeah. But actually, after a few times you use this, it feels really natural. I don't have the feeling like you have to learn from scratch something else.
This is actually something that we also explored with Nigel. I don't know, Laura, if you want to chime in, but the building blocks, hands building blocks has some kind of like a problem in the last update, as far as I heard.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing. Maybe it can be the situation, Stephen. I don't know, Laura, anything you would like to chime in?
Then it also really depends on your settings. Like, just have really good lighting. That helps like the most in my experience. And
Exactly.
have always the highest also in the headset, and many times in the SDK you have like higher rate tracking on your hands. So you have to enable that and select that. But
Yeah,
yeah.
that's nice thing. And one more thing that we have been discussing in the RoboFlow one, as well as in our internal discussions about while you are, I mean, not related maybe to OpenCV, but while you are collecting photo data, right? Uh, Taking a picture from a phone versus collecting data from camera of the headset. Is there any difference there, Laura? We were talking about that, like how you can actually help the CV intelligence to actually look at from the exact perspective of your POV of camera setting of your headset. Maybe you can also tell a little bit about that.
That's mainly for custom trained models.
Yes.
So for example, the YOLO, if it was trained for the ball tracking, then it's really good to train it on the images from the Quest, because it will detect much better than if you just train it on pictures from webcam or from your phone, because this is how your headset will capture the camera feed and send it to your model. So it's really important to choose and do pictures from the Quest and train your model on that.
Yeah, perfect.
Like,
By the way, Aman Bohra is here that we mentioned a couple of times. He is also curious to see how we start with the ball tracking on Christoph's side, and Aman will take over next week. I don't know if Aman you can hear us, but thanks for joining us today, and thanks in advance for next week. I would say we are really looking forward to see the pool XR use case. I think it's very nice to see both use cases is like related with ball and how it actually brings different values to different kind of use cases. So yeah, we are really happy to have Aman in the next open lectures. Perfect. So is it differ from augmented reality? Andre is asking. I don't know what he's referring to by it, but is it
No.
different from augmented reality? Yeah, it's a little bit contextual thing that we cannot. Yeah, mixed reality maybe. I mean, you can tell the difference of mixed reality and augmented reality maybe quickly. I hope that this is the right reference that I assumed. Would you like to share the difference of augmented reality and mixed reality, Christoph?
Yeah, I mean, in the end, like if we would have proper augmented reality headsets that can do this kind of processing power and can show it in this kind of quality, then of course it would be just an augmented reality game. But actually, we don't have this technology, and so it's the best way to use the Quest with the mixed reality pass-through because we can, in the end, have accurate tracking with a lot of processing power. And yeah, this is actually a vehicle for Ballee, but not the end goal, I would say.
I'm really curious what will Ballee will look like next year whenever we have another open lecture. I'm really curious because you never stop evolve like transforming your game with different um, much more challenging topics. So it's like very interesting. There is a question, is there a good tutorial for implementing OpenCV in Unity or C Sharp? Yeah, that's something that we already answered multiple times. We get our message, everyone here. Thank you for everyone to show your interest. So we know our assignment, Laura, Christoph. So we will definitely find the way to make this possible for you. Is it possible to mix XR with ML to inspect for material fractures? I am thinking of taking images with drones. This is actually a little bit OpenCV question, but so as far as I understand, someone is actually using VR controlled drones, and they will basically create, like they will basically real time inspect and track fractures from drones. It's very interesting use case.
I mean, I think, of course, you can do it. Question is, I think, the biggest problem here is like the I don't know how fast this kind of system has to be really sophisticating because drones are really fast flying objects, right? They're flying
Exactly.
about through the sky, and I don't know. I don't know if the Quest is really the best device for this kind of things. It would be possible in some way.
But you are not using the camera of Quest actually, right? You are using the camera of, I mean, you are using literally camera of drone to connect to CV. You are using the camera of drone
Okay,
for
also.
camera of Quest for nothing, right? It's actually VR, right? You are basically streaming to your thing. So, but I mean, we talk about RoboFlow. Maybe I can share my screen. As you know, we discussed about that. If you haven't watched the last week's recording and workshop, as you see here, there's a place called universeroboflow.com, and there's already fracture and land. I mean, there is also other kind of fractures here, but there is already some kind of like a I would see like object detection and models for this. So maybe if you pre-train your model and then connect to this, why not? It can be important. But again, you are literally using the camera of drone rather than camera of, as far as I understand. So you can go to universeroboflow.com to see and then watch the last week's recording to see how you can utilize universe open source data set. I'm pretty sure OpenCV also have these kind of things. Especially as far as I understand, OpenCV is much more like satellite, etc. is very popular. Maybe in OpenCV you will see also a lot of answers to that.
No.
I heard tracking QR code and I have one robotics application where I have to detect and scan QR AR codes for fast moving IGV. How can I use something like this?
Yeah, as I said, so fast moving, what means fast? You know, like I didn't post this example. I don't know if I have it on YouTube. Let me check. But actually, you can also track in a quite good way QR codes at real time with the Quest. This is possible, but it's not as fluent as with the ball. It's more kind of chuck, 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 chuck if you move it around. You know, like it's not like one fluent movement. It's more like chopped. So in
Like
the
with
end,
frames almost.
yeah.
Okay.
So you can track a QR code, but I wouldn't use it for real-time tracking. It's more for something you want maybe to track a space and you have a QR code on the wall, and you want to find this wall again, or you want to find this table again where your statue is on it. For this, the QR code is perfect. And that's what I think Meta had in mind for this. You know, like you have an exhibition, there should be this tower you built on one exact place. You can use the QR code and it will be there. But it's not really for live tracking real moving objects. That's why I'm using the color tracking, because color tracking, as you can imagine, is way more cheaper than QR code tracking.
Mm-hmm. Cheaper means like compute.
Yeah,
Compute.
exactly.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, Heat, I'll ask this IGV question. So Heat, I think hackathons are the perfect place to try these kind of things. So come join us. We'll have lots of robotics people. I don't know which one you are close to, Barcelona or San Francisco. Come join us. Bring your IGV, so we can definitely make it work. Another question from Heat also, can CV be used for keeping that IGV in a lane and avoid obstacles while being in the lane? I mean, this should already be something that you can do automated, right? I'm just trying to understand, do you need object tracking for that? It's like much more like obstacle detection or physical space detection. I don't know.
That's why I'm also confused. I mean, line tracking in this kind of way would be more efficient, I
Yeah,
would guess.
exactly.
I mean, you can use it, of course, for avoid something, but then it has to be kind of detectable. What I did in the end with Ballee and with other stuff is kind of that I know what I'm looking for. You know, if you know what you're looking for and you know how it behaves, then it makes it way easier to predict something or to know how it moves. Because for the ball, also, like, of course, I cannot track how far the ball is exactly from me, but I can think about what happens if I push a ball from my perspective to a point. And it will be that it's maximally in the z-axis. It can be further or more nearby, but the other axis, it will be not kind of jump around.
Okay.
And
I
this
think,
in the end,
yeah,
it's the same with the
using Kenny edge detection for doing this. Heat is currently thinking of using Kenny edge detection for doing this. So I think there's a specific obstacle or edge that Heat needs to see, as far as I understand. Yeah, very interesting. I mean, yeah, all of these things are perfect for hackathon. So again, come join, and then
yeah.
maybe who knows, Christoph will join one of them and then be with us. So in-person mentorship, amazing. Grace asks, where can we find resources for mobile net? I think the cup game tracking is really fascinating.
Good question. There is on Hugging Face, there is some mobile net Onyx model, I think, for Unity you can use with CentOS. And what I did in the end, I used RoboFlow, what you can also learn from the last session, how to use RoboFlow. And with RoboFlow, you can in the end not directly export it as a mobile net model, as far as I know, but I'm not an expert. I exported as Dolo model in the end, and then I used just some prompt to train it as a mobile net model, just as ChatGPT or anything else. And then you will find a way to in the end train your data for mobile net. The big difference is for mobile net, for anyone who is not knowing this, is that comparison to YOLO, where you have in the end the box and you know where is it on X and Y coordinates. With mobile net, you just know if it's the object or not. So that's the big difference.
Perfect. Yinan asks, Hi, Christoph. I saw you have an arts background. How do you learn all this XR and CV stuff? Can you point out some learning path you went through? Amazing ideas and executions. I have an add-on question. Did your arts background help you also, like, if you had zero arts background, do you think that you would not build these kind of things? Did it help really? So how you are imagining this as well?
Arts background is really interesting. Where does it come from? I mean, I have a master of arts, but
Okay.
the master of arts is for social science. So I studied social science back in the days, and but yeah, there was a big switch from studying social science to go into XR and only XR in the end. But it was 2012, and I had the first XR headset from Meta on my head, the Oculus DK1 back in the days, 2012. And I was so amazed by this that I wanted to work with this the rest of my life. And yeah, it worked out so far. So since 2012, I'm only
You still
working.
survive, right?
I'm still alive.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, also not easy times sometimes, I have to say. And we can also make a story about this because actually the last 13 years was not like a dreamland for XR stuff, I have to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, how I learned this is all I teached it by myself in the end. When I started XR development, there was nothing like XR bootcamp. I started with Brackeys. They made a lot of YouTube tutorials back in the days, 2012, and I just kind of tried to follow the tutorial but make it for XR. So this was my first step to this. And the computer vision stuff I started way later. I think, of course, the first steps were like 2 years ago, where I did the shooter with the light, but that I really got into this was in the end the beginning of this year because I wanted to use it for the Quest. And before I kind of was knowing, or I kind of knew how to use it, but yeah, now I think my knowledge is way better than a year ago.
But your coding background is coming during arts part, or VR really helped your coding skills as well?
Yeah, I started 2012 in the end with my first own XR game, what I learned from Brackeys. And
So you learned coding with Unity and XR together.
with Unity and YouTube and
Okay.
XR, and that's all. I didn't was at university for studying
Yeah.
this. I only studied social science and social stuff. And yeah, the XR stuff I only learned from YouTube in the end.
Amazing, amazing. We have also a lot of bootcamp students coming from different parts of the world. I explained in the beginning. Some people have zero coding background, but they
Yeah.
are so committed. They are learning even in 2 months, and then after 2 months, they are starting to create prototypes. Of course, you don't need to be the top level software engineer at the end to build these things, but the more you know, of course, these integrations, etc. I think the biggest situation right now, not right now, for the last maybe 13 years, as you mentioned, is things are changing so quickly in XR. Nothing is fully dev friendly. You need to
Yeah.
know how to integrate, so it's actually not easy to build things like mobile development or typical mobile game development, right? But I think it's all about how you learn how to hack your way through whenever you see a new SDK or friction, right? So that's how we are also trying to teach in the XR bootcamp. Aman is saying
Yeah.
that great work. We are waiting for you, Aman, next week. Now you will take over what Christoph left. Have you tried multiplayer with two colored balls? Paul asked.
Not so far, actually. I mean, I'm mostly a multiplayer developer, actually, since I started. I only made multiplayer games, but Ballee is the first game that is not multiplayer, and I really enjoy it, to be honest, because it's way, way more easy to test it. And but yeah, I think it, yeah, but there are two problems that come together. So my prediction in the end goes from the perspective of the user. Means if I have a ball that gets kicked by another person, I have to reinvent my prediction
Yeah.
because then there's a different player. And I think this would be possible, but it would be worse than the tracking prediction actually is. And I'm not really sure if it makes the game more fun, to be honest. I think it could be interesting.
I mean, it can be like a collocated people like in a location-based thing, you know. But still, I agree with you. Like, how will it? Maybe in an OptiTrack type of thing. I don't know. Then you need to track not with the headset, but with the maybe these trackers, like a motion capture type of trackers, you know, like in an OptiTrack. Then
Yeah.
it might make sense. But I think this is going to that direction, Christoph. I don't know, but eventually someone may ask you, can we have a digital twin of the whole like mini like a small football soccer field, you know? So maybe it goes to that direction. Let's see how will computer vision and our skills will survive till that time. So Emmanuel asked a question. Tangram, to make a Tangram game. Tangram is a Chinese game composed with multiple colors pieces um, with Quest 3. Do you recommend to use color recognition or YOLO recognition or RUCO to detect physical pieces?
Yeah, I don't know the Tangram game, but actually, as I said before, I think if you have the time and you want to have it accurate, and then use YOLO. If you have time and you want to have it accurate and you have a QR code or something like an Uruku code, then just use the Uruku tracking. This is that.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah, I think with color tracking you could use it, but actually, these forms, I think color tracking would be not the best way, to be honest.
yeah, we already have also Tangram detection.
I think Tangram detection is better than to try to detect the
I mean,
blobs.
we were tracking, detecting cards, right? So Tangram should not be so also difficult.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Emmanuel,
But
this is a very nice use case. So why don't you build your team, or we can help you build your team on the next hack? I would say let's explore together. I think that will be my. Let's not tell everything, every answer here, so we have something to explore in the hackathon.
yeah.
And I just want to quickly wrap up because there are a few more questions. Would building a camera 2 API plus OpenCV plugin be more accurate than using Meta's plugins for OpenXR and not OVR stuff?
That's what I did actually. I have a Camera 2 API plugin and not the one from Meta, and I'm using OpenCV for Unity. Yeah, I'm using both, and I'm using actually that I also can put in the timestamps because they're getting it from the Camera 2 API instead of the webcam texture. But don't overestimate this. I would say for really accurate QR tracking, yeah, it's really beneficial. for just using really fast tracking, you in the end you just use the most the quickest frame that you get. So if you have a delay from 40 milliseconds or something, you use every frame that is 40 millisecond delayed. Doesn't matter if it's 45, maybe 35, you just use it. And that's make it way more easier than for the QR code tracking. So I would say Camera 2 API with OpenCV is really good. For everything, it's way better. But if you only want to make ball tracking, like an object tracking, you can also use just the Meta webcam solution and then mix it with OpenCV.
Perfect. Have you tried custom overclock PPS or custom config? From Luis. Like Quest Games Optimizer app.
No, I didn't.
It's for probably
PPS?
performance.
Yes.
Overclock PPS.
No, I'm not aware of this.
Okay. Steven asked, what is your preferred way to get data off the headset? For example, if someone scores 10 points for their profile's sign in, how would you track their progress?
Actually, I don't track it in a way that I have a kind of database online. Actually, every user has his high score, but it's only on the device. And I'm also not a big fan of collecting this data in some way. I'm happy that my game in the end don't push any data online. So everything that stays or
device.
is used by the device stays on the device. Yeah.
I think, yeah, that makes much more sense. Yeah, that's nice. Perfect. What is the resolution of drone's camera? I don't know. I have zero idea. Is it possible to use OpenCV to recognize spaces, areas, stairs, corridor in order to deliver a particular MR experience without QR or other tracking methods? You did tower tag, and afterwards, of course, with Nick, you did all the fun stuff. So I think you can answer this very nicely, Christoph.
Yeah, I mean, of course you can, but the question is always what do you have for access and how you can use it. So for many of my games, we use some QR code or Ruko code markers to track the space, because when you just use it without this kind of systems, you always have some drifting over time, or sometimes already after half an hour, or sometimes after 2 or 3 hours, but there will be some drifting after time. So it's always good to using some QR code tracking or some other methods to make this more accurate.
Perfect. If it is the object or not, so is the cup tracking done via hand?
No. If you, in the end, you hold your cup. I don't have a cup here, but
I
if you
have.
hold your smartphone, and in the end, the idea is that here my smartphone is blue. So if I see a blue spot in my area, I could determine this blue spot, and then I could ask the mobile net, is this a smartphone or not? And if it is a smartphone, then I know maybe also the size or whatever I have in my database. So I can use it as soon as I have a database who knows if it's a cup or not. And then I just can use it like my hands, because I don't think that Meta is doing something magical here. It's in the end, it knows also your hands, and then it knows where the distance could be, and the same would be with the cup. And you can also improve this with the environment raycast, that you just send a raycast there, and you can see how much distance there is.
Perfect. Last question. Thank you, Grace. And last question from Indrajit. Hello, Chris. I have just started a project on Gaussian splatting in which I use the MetaQuest 3 as a scanner. Which learning path would you recommend in order to implement that? I think there is a new hyperspace thing? Is
Yeah.
it referring to that or just the Gaussian spread here?
Yeah, I think actually this is what Hyperscape is doing right now with the demo. Meta Spring. Actually, I think I know how you could do this on your own. But of course, you could also use the thing of Meta. But if you want to develop something like this on your own, there is an environment raycast, and with the environment raycast, in the end, you can try to make this as small as possible, and then collect every point. Like you have a big point cloud, right? And if you have this of your room, you can also use it for making some 3D scanner, or you're making some Gaussian splat out of it, because yeah, you can just record your room in different angles, and then you can use it to make some calculations out of it. But yeah, I would first check out the meta thing. I think it's way better than everything you can do in your own quickly. But after that, it's really possible. I also think about now to, in the end, make a scanner that scans not the room, it scans more like the texture. Like I have a wall, I can scan the texture, and then I can paint with this texture in my room. So this, sure, yeah.
Yeah, I actually would like to ask to the chat right now, if you are interested in some kind of like a hyperscape capture workflow, who would like to be interested on that, who would like to see that as an open lecture, please write on the chat. We don't have a poll right now, but just to understand how many of you are interested. Indrajit definitely be interested, but would like to see others, because if there's an interest, I don't know how many people are also knowing Hyperscape, but I think this is something that Laura just shared on the chat. So it's the future of holodeck, right? That we can definitely see that. Okay, so yeah, we have a lot of homework to do. Christoph, with Laura, we will go back and then check who can be the best person. As you can see, we are heavily curating the people that we are bringing as a like a expert here, because we want you to learn here, not just listen to some talk, right? You can go back now to your headset, to your CV model, to your laptop, and then apply what you have seen here. This session will be also available publicly, so you can also watch that afterwards as long as you registered. So yeah, thank you, Christoph. I mean, this is really, we finished all the questions. As promised, no questions left behind. It looks like everyone is very happy to have you. Again, just as a final reminder, for people like Christoph, it's very important to see actually the interest of people building. So please, if you are inspired from this session, share your with your surrounding, with your social media, and then share the love of Ballee. I think this is one of the most I would say very risky but very interesting, challenging experiences that I have ever seen in the store. I'm also happy that Meta also approved, because these are very like a challenging, all the camera and Meta's capabilities, CV models. So it is amazing to see that on a store. So let's make sure that we show some love there, and let's make sure that people like Christoph will continue doing what they are doing best. Thank you again, Christoph and Laura and the team, for making this happen. Next week we will have Aman with us. This time it will be on Tuesday, same time, 10 a.m. PT, 7 p.m. CET. I hope that we will even go to the next level after Aman's thing. So we will have a full understanding of how to detect. One more thing that I would like to share as well, like the building blocks, AI blocks, Meta announced at Connect. I was at Connect, so they already announced. It is not available yet, but it is coming soon, in our opinion, in the next maybe major updates. So things are changing quite fast. right now this session is based on today's possibilities, but we will also make sure that you will also learn how to actually use these building blocks. Exactly, and boldtrackingame.com. Please also join, at least show like it's a like a free to download and everything. So make sure that you are actually understanding how these kind of projects has been done, and then hopefully it will be also an inspiration for your next game that we will invite you here. Perfect. Thank you, Christoph. Anything else, like as a last note or like a piece of advice that you can give? So we will be resilient and patient enough while you are, as much as you do. Any kind of last advice?
You know what I when I started the XR development, like already like 13 years ago, I was also kind of coming from a completely different field, and but this is a really big advantage actually what XR developers can have, because many people who coming from development, who they come from games or they come from applications that are normally like 2D or maybe 3D on a monitor, but they have kind of knowledge that is outdated for XR. So if you come especially as an XR expert in this kind of field, or you are open as an developer for other things to learn XR, I think then you have a really good spot in this business, because you have to learn to think differently than for games for the monitor or for the PC. You know, you need to get a new knowledge for this, and this is really important. And forget what you learned about games before.
Exactly. Perfect. Very nice. Like the last advice for this session. Thank you again for being with us for over 2 hours, everyone. And hope to see you next week. And also hope to see you in the following in-person and online hackathons. Thank you. Till next week.